I don't know. Okay. That's Freya. That's the insane animal that we decided to keep when we had all those puppies last summer. And now Phoebe's going to try and knock stuff down. So we'll see how today goes. No, Freya's going to leave. Freya's going to leave. She's going to take her ring and go play with them. Here. Good. She just got in trouble. She didn't get in trouble. She didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so I moved some things and I feel like I don't know. This happens when I have, and I'm going to be early, right? It never happens. I am never early. And I don't know why. If I've got extra time, I screw around. That's basically how that works. It's hard to move one camera without screwing the other one up, so I apologize to YouTube. You probably feel like you're on a boat. My goodness, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do it. You want out? Yeah. All right. Okay. I think that works. See what happens next week when we get there. So, yeah. Today is going to be just kind of a wherever the spirit moves you kind of day, right? My shoulder's feeling much better, but I'm still avoiding some planks. So if you want chaturanga and all of that, feel free to add those things in while I'm doing something you don't want to do. And remember, it's, first of all, it should always be like that, right? You're at home. You can do whatever you want. If you're in a studio and you're doing something completely different than the instructor is, or even the gym, wherever, than the instructor is doing, it can be weird and distracting and you can feel uncomfortable. But you are home. You can do whatever you want. And if you use these videos just to sort of jumpstart your practice on Saturday mornings or whenever, obviously, then great. I'm offering suggestions. If it's not for you at that moment, then don't worry about it. Right? This is your practice. Yoga is very personal, right? Our bodies are all different. We're all at different levels of our practice. So just listen to your body and do what you need. And hopefully Phoebe will stop doing that. So, here we go. Go ahead and stand at the top of your mat. Bring your toes to point forward. Feet underneath the hips, hip bones. Okay. Pressing down into the four corners, so making your legs work just a little bit. And a little tuck of the tailbone. Lifting the pelvic floor with the lower belly in and up. Setting the pelvis in the proper place. Extending the crown of the head to the ceiling while you relax your shoulders down and back. Arms should hang at the sides of your body. If you like your palms forward, take them. Bottom tips of the ears back, enough to bring the head in line with the spine. And then just be here. If this is radically different than you normally stand, keep that in the back of your head when you normally stand. Allowing your awareness to add your breath to be added to your awareness. And then let's create that yoga breath. So all through the nose. Allowing it to expand. So a little deeper. Exhaling a little bit more completely. See if you can even the breath out so that the inhales are about as long as the exhales. And work to keep the breath nice and smooth. So, especially when you're in maybe a twist or a pose that's really challenging, your breath might get a little choppy. Right? So, you can smooth it out wherever you are. So, keeping what you have set here. With the next inhale, we're going to take those arms and stretch them up to the ceiling, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, bring them back down. Do that again. And then one more time. Come back to the top. Interlace the fingers. And then exhale, tip right. Inhale back up to the middle. Exhale over to the left. And inhale, center. Following your breath side to side like that. Working to keep the feet nice and level. Breath really smooth. And maybe those stretches get a little bit more intense every time you dip in there. We're going to go once more on each side, so we want to be even right and left. When you're back to center, exhale, releasing the arms. All right, take the hands to the thighs and lean if you need to lean, of course. Gently make your way over into a half fold. And then slowly into wherever your full fold is, whatever that looks like now. The hands obviously can stay up on the thighs if you'd like. They can slide down to your shins or the floor as long as you don't round your back. Keeping the legs straight. And letting your fold develop over the next breath or two. Let's go ahead and step the right foot back and make our way into a lunge. So a nice big step back there. You can drop the back knee if you like, of course. Rolling around into the hips a little bit. And then finding a middle here, right? So allowing the hips to descend. Imagine pulling your legs toward each other. Nice and centered. From here, gently take the left leg straight. Or straighter. Prop if you need to prop, of course. Right? You can prop up on the shin or use a block. And even here, think about where your hips are. Right? Keeping them level. It's easy to sort of kick out to the side. Right? We're going to bend back into the knee. Keep that idea of hugging the legs toward each other to help with the stability. Right? And again, if you need the right knee down, take it. We're laying the right hand where it is. And then sweep the left arm up toward the ceiling. Rotating the body around. So you don't have to add in the arm. It can be on your hip if you like. The idea is to turn the belly button to the inner thigh. And then the shoulder follows. Keep the left knee hugged in. It doesn't slide out to the side. And then from here, C, about slowly taking the left leg straighter. Again, if you need to be propped, you need to be propped. Take your time, you follow that nice smooth breath, right? And then gently release what you got. We're gonna step the right foot forward into fold. Just sort of center. And we'll switch sides, so step the left foot back. Nice big step back there. And again, just wiggle around a little bit here, wake up your hips. And then finding your center. So left knee on the mat, if that means it. Right, hugging the legs toward each other so the hips are nice and square. We're pressing through the back heel, make it like work. Taking the right leg straighter. Thinking about being stable, the hips are square, you've got that nice stretch up the right hamstring. And then go ahead and bend into the knee again. Keeping the hips square, so keep the legs working like you're pulling them toward each other. From here, taking the right arm and sweeping it up toward the ceiling. Adjusting. Remember, you're moving from your belly button, not just your shoulders. Keeping the legs stable and strong. And then let's see about taking the right leg straight again, or straight-ish. Remembering your hips. Adjusting the arm if that's what you need to do. Remember, the twist comes from the belly anyway. Release what you got here. And this time we're gonna step back into down dog. Letting yourself wiggle around a little bit here. And then settling in. Thinking about the four corners of the hands, press firmly into the floor, pressing the chest back and the heels toward the mat. And then keep that as you lift the right leg. Pressing through the heel, both heels really. Open up the right hip, take those toes higher. Watch that the shoulders stay level to the floor. You can bend the knee here if you like. Take the right leg straight, square up the hips, and release the toes to the floor. Moving to the second side, same exact idea, lifting the left leg. And remember, you might have a really big difference from one side to the other. Don't worry about it. Lifting the hip, bending the knee. And then releasing that side. Let's go ahead and drop the knees and sit back in child's pose. So from here, come on up into all fours, or tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, roughly. And we're gonna take the right hand, palm face up, weaving it underneath. So you can drop down to the right elbow to the middle of your mat maybe, or continue to reach out and drop the right shoulder. So making sure your neck and head stay comfortable. Using the floor to open up your twist a little bigger, pushing into the right arm and the left hand, and getting that idea of rotating the belly around. And of course, here again, you can take the left arm, reaching toward the ceiling. If you want to add on, you could, of course, reach around toward the right hip with the left hand. Add in lifting the left knee, and then maybe the left toes. Take a couple of nice big breaths. Gently releasing what you got. Making your way back to all fours. And then we'll switch sides. So bringing the left hand under, elbow to the mat, shoulder to the mat if that's where you prefer to be. Making sure you feel stable before you add all the fancy stuff, right? Because otherwise you're just rolling over. Pressing into the floor to open the twist, making that a little bit bigger, adding the right hand, the right leg, all of the pieces, if and when you're ready. Just another breath here. And then we're going to release it. Coming back into that all fours position. And then sitting back into our child's pose again. Stretching the arms out nice and long. Grounding the four corners of the hands. Let's make our way back to down dog. And then stepping the right foot up, let's take it to lunge. From the lunge, walk the hands around into the center of a straddle. Check in that your feet are wide enough and that your toes point forward. Maybe a little bit, toes turned in a little bit. Nothing crazy. Staying nice and even on the four corners of the feet though. Try not to roll out on the ankle. And for a moment, just let yourself hang here because we learned last week how good that feels. If you didn't already know, of course. We're going to take the hands then, index and middle finger wrapping around the big toes. Legs straight if you can make them. Elbows bent onto the sides either way. And then, of course, you can pull on your toes and draw that stretch a little bigger. Releasing the toes. Fingers are going to interlace behind the lower back, pulling the shoulder blades together on the back, and then stretching the knuckles away from the shoulders, maybe up off of your lower back or not. Let's go ahead and release the hands. From here, taking the hands to the floor, even if you have to bend at the knees, we're going to walk the hands forward and let the hips come down, kind of like you would in plank, only lower, all the way toward the floor. And then walk your hands back. Forward again. Let the hips drop. And back. One more time like that. And when you're back to your normal straddle, turn your toes out to the corners just a little bit. You can adjust them as we go. Make it right for you. With your breath here, on an exhale, bend into your right knee and kind of let your hips slide over to the right. Come on back up to the middle, and then exhale over to the left. So as you bend the knee, you want to make sure that your knee is stacked over your ankle and pointing in the same direction as your toes. So you might have to adjust your feet. And you might have to adjust your feet as you go, because you might be able to get in there a little deeper, right? So with the breath, you can get all fancy, and when you bend your left knee, you can flip your right toes toward the ceiling, if you like that. Someday you'll be able to sit your butt on the floor. Maybe. So let's go once more on each side. And then when you're back to center, turn the toes back forward again. And then bring your hands to your hips. If you need to support on the thighs, feel free to do that. We're going to come halfway up and hold in the middle. Whatever your middle is, so that might not be parallel to the floor, right? With the next inhale, all the way up. From here, turning the right toes toward the top of the mat. Let's bend into the knee. Finding our warrior two legs here. So stacking the knee over the ankle. Those right now, left toes are pulled in a little bit. Hips are level. Relaxing the shoulders, looking over the right fingertips. Bend the right arm, rest it on the thigh, and bring the left arm over the ear. Lean on the leg if you like. Arm over the ear here. Sinking into the hips. And then keep the upper body doing what it's doing. Slowly take that right leg straighter. Right? And this right arm can dangle down. You can support on the shin or the thigh even. A block. Work from the belly. Inhale, hinge up. Release your arms. And let's switch feet. So turn the right toes in a little bit. Turn the left toes toward the top of the mat. Bending into the knee. Check that you're in the right space, because it's not always even, right? Extending the arms when you're ready. Bend the left arm, rest it. Right arm up and over. And again, lean if you need to lean. Slowly take the left arm straight. Left leg straight, sorry. And then lean if you need to lean. Work from the belly. Hinge up to the middle. And then release the arms. Step back to the top of the mat. And we'll go ahead and use our balance. Right? So can you bounce your mat near a wall? Feel free to make those adjustments. And as long as you are standing on one foot, you are working with your balance. So all of the fancy stuff may or may not happen. Don't worry about it. So we're going to take all the weight over into the left foot, lifting the right knee. Holding here, this is balancing. We're going to add in a little twist. So take that left hand to the outside of the right leg. You want to keep the right knee pointing forward, but imagine pulling against it a little bit, rotating your belly to the right. So standing, balancing, twist. You can get all fancy by maybe sliding your hand down to the shin, pulling that leg in a little tighter, sliding your hand down to the foot, and then taking that right foot straight, or the right leg straight. Stand up tall on the left leg. Hips are level. You got this nice little twist. And then we're going to release whatever you got. And try the second side. Like the first side didn't happen. So if you're wobbling all over the place, that means nothing. Right, for the second side anyway. So shifting the weight right, lifting the left. Adding in a little twist. Making it a bigger twist if that's you. Maybe look, extend the left arm back, look over with the left thumb. The fancy things with the left leg perhaps. And take your time. Because your body might be happiest somewhere in the middle. Taking just a couple more breaths here. If you are wobbling, you are normal. And then we're going to release all that. All right. So back to the top of the mat again. Inhale, stretching your arms up. Take yourself over into a fold. And let yourself hang out. We're going to step ourselves back into down dog. And from the down dog, slide forward into a plank. Hold here for just a couple of breaths. Press through the heels. Feel the shoulders neutral on the back. Make sure your belly's not sagging. And then let's make our way down to the belly. So whether you kind of collapse on it or you're nice and smooth all the way down, whatever. We're going to work with locust here. So laying flat, arms down by your sides. You can interlace your fingers behind your back here if you prefer. Just listening to your body. Tuck the tailbone toward the heels, keeping the lower back really long. Pressing down into the tops of the feet, we're going to roll our shoulders up by the ears together on the back, down toward the hip bones. Keeping those shoulder blades pulling together on the back, stretching the fingers for the heels. Or the knuckles for the heels if your fingers are interlaced. Releasing that. Let's work with the lower body. So make a little pillow for your head with your hands. And then rest your chin or your forehead on your pillow. And then it stays where it is. The lower body, spreading the toes really wide. Think extending the big toe toward the wall behind you. Activate the legs. Turning the tailbone down and lifting the legs away from the floor. Don't worry about high. You want to keep them straight. Release the legs. and then we'll put it together. So take the arms back down by the sides. Interlace if you want to interlace. Tuck the tailbone. That's your foundation. There's your pelvis. Rolling into the shoulders, extending through the big toes, and lifting the chest and the legs. Gently release. Make that little pillow for your head again. Turn the toes toward each other back there, and then just gently shift back and forth on your hips. Rock back and forth. That's the word. So come to center. And we're just going to have a little fun with this. So you can use lifting, and if that's you, if you're done with it, you're done with it. Okay? Otherwise, this time bend the knees and see about grabbing your feet. You can grab from the insides or the outsides. You can maybe just grab one at a time. But if you can, grab both. Hanging on to the ankles, you can flex your feet, and that helps you hang on. Think of that turning the tailbone toward the floor thing again. The shoulders are pulled back already because you have your feet, probably, anyway. And then you can lift the chest a little bit more, lift the thighs a little bit. Either way, though, rock yourself over to the right, all the way. So you're on the left shoulder there. I'm sorry, the left, not the right. And then back to center and the other side. So if you went right, like I said, you're fine. Keeping the tailbone turning toward the knees, we're going to rock back over to the left. And then back over to the right. Back over to the left again. This time release your feet and roll all the way to your back. It's just more fun than flopping over, right? So of course then you have to wiggle back to your mat. And just let the spine rest here. So the legs can be straight, the feet or the knees can be bent, feet flat. Gently draw the knees into the chest. And let yourself rock a little bit. So the knees hugging into the chest. I think we did this last week, maybe. Shins vertical. Hanging onto the backs of your thighs or reaching up for the soles of your feet. Inside and outside, of course, right? Pulling the knees down toward the sides of your body. Letting yourself rock a little bit here. And if you pull down enough on one foot, you may be able to roll over to that side and have your knee touch the floor-ish. Okay? And you can rock side to side like that. And if nothing else, it feels good on your back, right? Coming back to the center, pull down evenly on the feet then. Hanging on, and whether you have your feet or you're the backs of your thighs here, you're going to push up with your legs, pull down with your arms. And then release that, taking the feet flat to the floor. Bringing the soles of the feet together and just letting the knees fall out to the sides. Bringing the knees together. And then the final twist here, of course, you can always add whatever variation you want to. Extending the arms out into a T position. Maybe just letting the knees fall over to the right. You can shift your hips first and then let them fall to the right. You can keep the knees bent, take them straight. Stretch your toes towards your right hand or just let gravity do it. All of the options. Taking a few more breaths here, so if you wanted to add something in, do that now. Making your way back to center. And then take the same variation over to the second side. At least begin in the same place as the first. And then once you're there, if you wanted to change it up, feel free. Taking just a few more breaths over on this side. And then making your way back to the middle. Drawing the knees back to the chest. Commit that rock. Squeezing the shins in, pulling the forehead toward the knees. Give yourself a hug. And then take a full body stretch, fingertips to toes. Releasing that stretch. Finding Shavasana. And remember, that can look like whatever you want it to. So you can prop up here. You can take a legs up the wall kind of idea. If a seated meditation is what feels right today, then move there. And listen to your body and what you need. And once you've found that place, become still. And even maintaining that stillness in the mind, keeping it quiet, letting any random thoughts move right on by. Allow yourself just a few minutes to simply rest here. Super important. Remembering you can stay in Shavasana as long as you want. And if you're ready, slowly make your way out to a seated position. And see if you can maintain that nice, calm, quiet place in your mind. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch, guiding some light within. Namaste. Good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that. And remember, anytime you get on your mat, that is your practice. Okay? I'm offering suggestions, and if they sound good, great. And if nothing does, and you do, I don't know, 10 minutes of child's pose, right? It's yoga. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully it's not gloomy and gray like it is here. Go out and play. And remember to visit the website, anitayoga.com. Offer suggestions, ideas, poses that you want to do, poses that you hate. I don't know. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. I will see you next time.